You can definitely tell it's navy month. Things I do for a thumbnail. Hey peeps, welcome to another video. Today it is my November fabric haul and sewing plans. There is one new piece of fabric in this haul, but I don't think I'm actually going to use it for the pattern that I'm going to show you the fabric with, and it'll make more sense when I get to that point. I have a little pile beside me here. I do still have a whole bunch of projects left over from October. I have my denim waistcoat, the denim Sorrento jacket with all the geeky patches. I have got my Maya Sotis dress, which I will get to, and the cardamom dress from the Old Gold cord and Savannah combo. I also have the Vogue 8772 shirt out of the viscose Marocaine that my sister-in-law gave to me, but you've seen all those ones before, so I want to show you some new projects that I would like to get to this month. Fingers crossed I manage my time well and get everything done. I think I can. It's going to be interesting. So last month I took on a repair project for my By Hand London Anna Brains and Beauty dress, which you can see the video of that up here if you would like to. I enjoyed making remaking the bodice of the dress so that it was wearable for me now. This first project is going to be a refashion of something that I made earlier this year, back in January. It is this dress. Now I love this dress if I stand still in it, but I have not worn it because the sleeves have a split opening on them. I either have to wear a jumper underneath of it for warmth's sake or show off my arms. Given that it's a high neck dress, I find it really odd that they would design it with openings in the sleeves. Now don't get me wrong, like I knew what I was getting into when I played around with the pattern. I knew that there were openings in these sleeves. Out of all the sleeve options, they were the ones that I was the most interested in because they had the tight fitting cuffs and then the big sleeves, and we all know how I feel about a big sleeve. So I powered ahead with a precious to me fabric and made the dress, and I love it. I do love it, but I've never worn it because of those sleeves. So I have dug out this crinkle viscose. I've dug out this crinkle viscose from my stash. I got this from the fabric room quite a while ago now. I've had this in my stash for a while. Mum's nicked some of it for contrast pieces on a shirt that she was working on because she didn't quite have enough fabric to do the cuffs and collars in the print. So Mum's stolen a little bit of this, and I have what is left over. There were 3 meters to start with. I genuinely have no idea what's left over, but like I say, Mum only got cuffs and collars out of this, so there should be quite a lot. So what I'm going to do is retrace these sleeves. I have these sleeves. I've traced them out and they're a 2-piece sleeve. So what I'm going to do is layer them on top of each other and trace them out as one sleeve with no opening in it. I'm going to use that for the pattern going forward because now that I've worked out what I'm going to do with the sleeves, I can definitely see myself making this dress again. I love it, I really do. What I'm going to do with this one is fully line the sleeve with this navy viscose. There's still going to be the sleeve opening, but what I'm going to do is actually hand sew it down in place. I'm going to put it on my mannequin and pin it into place and hand sew it down so that you still see a little sliver of the sleeve opening, but it's like a flash of navy and you can't see the inside of the fabric. That's another thing that bugged me, and I did try and cut out sleeve linings for this dress, and I'm really glad that I didn't have enough fabric because A, I got one of my favourite tops out of it, the By Hand London Anna top, and B, it means that doing this method is not going to make these sleeves even more bulky than they already could be. Battery's dying, 2 secs. That's better, you'll have power. Where was I? Sleeves. So yeah, what I'm going to do is merge the 2 pieces, draw or trace out the new sleeve without the split down it, make it out of this fabric, and I am going to unpick the cuff because that's just hand sewn in on the inside, so it's slip stitched into place. So I'm going to unpick that. I have added a continuous lap, so I'm going to probably have to unpick that, tuck in the continuous lap that I'm going to make on the sleeve underneath, hand sew that back down, and then hand sew it in at the shoulder seam. Because I have bagged out the lining, the majority of it's French seamed, bagged out and trimmed with pinking shears, so it's really closely trimmed at the shoulder seam or the arm side. I really don't want to unpick that, so I'm going to hand sew it into place, and as I say, hand sew down the opening as well, so you'll see a little sliver of the navy underneath, and I think that's going to look really nice because the sleeve will be full and just have like a split down the front of like this sliver of solid colour, but you won't be able to see the inside of the fabric. And that's it. I think that's where I was previously, wasn't I, before the battery died. That's one thing that did bug me about it. I did try, yes, I was talking about this earlier, I did try and cut out linings for the sleeves so they could be fully lined, but that didn't end up working because I didn't have enough fabric to do that, and I'm glad that I didn't because I got the top out of it. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do, is repair this dress, well, not repair, but alter this dress to be more me. And then, as I say, going forward I will use the altered sleeve pattern without the split down the front, because the sleeve itself is gorgeous. I love the high cuff, I love the volume that comes from it. I can see myself sticking it onto other bodices because I do think it's a really, really nice sleeve, just without those weird slits in them. But yeah, that fabric also deserves to be something that gets worn because it is beautiful. It was a present from the very lovely Nancy. It's called Naturella Bouquet. It's a Lady McCalls fabric. They don't have it in print or in stock at the moment. If you guys are interested, I can definitely give it to them as one of their ones that they want to reprint because people would like it. Very excited to finally get that dress into a point where I will actually wear it, because at the moment, nah, don't want chilly arms. Okay, next up is the Vogue 9076. This will be my third iteration of this one, and I think not my final one, but finally the one that I will actually put out as a sew along for you guys. I've made, as I say, 2 of these so far, and I love both of them. I did film a sew along with the teal Cobra Corsage viscose one that I made, and I ended up not putting it out because there were still things that I wanted to tweak on this pattern. I love the pattern, I think it's gorgeous, but I don't like the opening method. It has like a little placket in the skirt, and I was thinking for this time I was going to make it a fully button-up dress and put the skirt buttons and loops all the way down the front, and I could do that. It would look really nice, but the teal turquoise Cobra Corsage one, I put a side zipper in, and that works surprisingly well. I hate side zippers usually, but I really like how it turned out for that dress. The reason I don't think it was quite so successful is there was a few, like I fully lined it as well, and they don't want you to fully line this, and I don't like that. That's just me, as you guys know. Yeah, there was just a few things with the teal turquoise, or there were just a few things with the Cobra Corsage one that I was just like, you know what, I could do better than this. So I am finally going to be cutting into this fabric. I have had this for a very long time. I believe I got it from Lamazi Fabrics. It is absolutely gorgeous. I wish I'd bought more. I bought myself 3 meters. Mum loved it. I bought her 1.5 meters because that's all they had left. Mum's made a Melilo shirt out of it. I can just squeeze this dress out of 3 meters of fabric. The first one that I made, I had 3 meters of it. I will be adding some piping as well, and I'm going to use this fabric, which is exactly the same as the navy one. It's a crinkle viscose from the fabric room in rust, and I'm going to use it and make my own piping and use it to pick out some of the details of this dress, because my very first one, you can't really see any of the really interesting details on the bodice. I used piping on the teal one and I really like how that looks, but I want to go a step further and I want to pipe the cuffs, and I want to put piping on the collar as well. I don't think I want piping down the centre front, I don't think, but I'm not ruling it out, because if I do make it into, I'm still debating, do I put a side zipper in or do I make it a fully button-up dress? Ooh, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you have a preference for the sew along? Because either is going to be really easy for me to show you like the different techniques. I'm not sure with this one. I'm going to do self-covered buttons with this as well, like I did with my black one, with the teal Cobra Corsage. I'm really excited to finally get this fabric made up. I have been hoarding it for the longest time. I love it, and I was just really worried that I was going to make the wrong thing with it, so I've just been hoarding and hoarding and hoarding, and I am happy enough with the dress now that I think that this is going to make a really good version of it. So yeah, very much looking forward to this one, and fingers crossed this should be the sew along that you guys have been waiting very, very patiently for, so thank you for that as well. But I'm excited about this one. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below, fully button up or side zip, what do you think? Not that I'm not guaranteeing I'm going to agree with you or actually do the thing that you say, but that's, yeah, let me know what you think. Okay, next up is another fabric pattern combination that I've had on my mind for a very, very long time. The pattern is the Butterick 6380 and the fabric is this beautiful crepe that I got from Fabric Godmother at the Knitting and Stitching show, I think the first one I ever went to, so that's how long I've been hoarding this stuff for. I bought whatever they had at the show, and then I also bought whatever they had left online, so I have just over 5 meters of this fabric. Now this dress does not need 5 meters, but what I'm thinking I'm going to do is actually put these sleeves onto it because I've done that before and I love it, and I'm going to make a 3/4 maybe full circle skirt to go on this as well. I do really like this skirt. I have used this skirt as a skirt a couple of times, but it's not as full as my usual preference. So I think, as I have the fabric, a super full skirt and a pair of giant sleeves. Now I might use the sleeves from the Vogue pattern that I'm going to alter the sleeves on, because I also really, really like those, and I think those could look really nice in this as well. So it's going to be some kind of statement sleeve on this one. I have made the original sleeves, the short sleeves on this one, and they were super tight to the point where I couldn't do the dress up. They were that tight. Made them into flutter sleeves, and I've never worn those ones, but that's because they've got some bad associations with them. But yeah, I really like this dress with long sleeves, and I've done it quite a few times, as you guys will have seen. It's going to be really nice to finally get this fabric made up, and it was always intended to be that pattern, so I'm very excited about that one. It's going to be a nice quick sew as well. It won't take me very long to get this done, so excited about that too. So this is the fabric I was talking about at the beginning, that technically it's the new one, but I only bought a meter of this new recently. The other 2 lengths I have of this, because I've got about 6 meters here, were birthday presents and presents to myself from quite a few years ago. So this is the Lady McElroy Brielle wool. It's a wool suiting. I think it's 80% wool, 20% polyamide. It's absolutely beautiful. I have made a waistcoat out of this, and I want to make a skirt and a pair of trousers to match. I'm also thinking about taking on tailoring a jacket, which is why I bought that extra meter when I was at Lady McElroy last. Now this is the inspiration picture here. Penny Heartbleed on Instagram, wearing Emmy Designs of Sweden. I love this whole look, and I already have the shirt, well, similar shirt. It doesn't have the bow at the, it has the, it's this. I have this shirt in cream, but I love this outfit on her. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Now I use this as my inspiration picture, and I gave the Patreon peeps 4 skirts to choose from: a 3/4 circle skirt, the Azara skirt from Deer and Doe with button up front, and the Azara skirt from Deer and Doe with a zip up at the back, or the McCalls 5829 Holston pattern that the very lovely Maggie has sent me. And the Patreon peeps overwhelmingly voted for this. Now this is, I'm gonna, rather than just show you the pattern envelope, I'm gonna put some images up of what the actual skirt and the seaming of the skirt looks like. It's actually only 3 pieces, and they go together very cleverly. There's lots of clipping and reinforcing of corners, so I'm interested to see how I'm going to be able to finish the inside of this. I have a feeling that I'm going to use bias binding on the majority, because I don't think I can French seam these things. I don't think. And then fully line it as well to save, like, to make it wearable over tights in the winter months, because that is something that I will do, and also to kind of like help make sure that there's no wear and tear on the delicate kind of intersections, because they're the bits that you have to clip into, so obviously they become slight areas of weakness. So it's going to be an interesting make. Also, the pattern that I have is for a size 26.5 inch waist. I'm going to need to enlarge this a little bit, so there will be a muslin made of this, and it's probably going to be a muslin out of calico. I'm going to order myself another 20 meters of calico. I ran out during the Deer and Doe muslins earlier this year, so much earlier this year, and I just haven't bought any since, and I've been doing wearable muslins and patterns that I know that I like, and sometimes just winging it and hoping for the best. So yeah, definitely going to need a muslin for this, because this wool is £16 per meter, and I am not risking it on something that I'm not 100% sure on. But the Patreon peeps have voted for this one, so thank you very much for pushing me outside of my comfort zone. Thank you to Maggie for sending me the pattern. I think it's really interesting, and I love Holston as a brand as well, so it's going to be really cool to say, oh yes, it's Holston, darling. I mean, made by me, but still, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I am looking forward to attempting it. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 projects there. The 4 projects that I mentioned that I've got cut out, and then the shirt that's I need to cut out back here. So let's throw one more in, because you know there are obviously 48 hours in every one of my days. Nothing like being overly ambitious. Now this one, I have had the fabric and the pattern for a very, very long time. The pattern is the McCalls 7974, and we all know I have a love-hate relationship with this pattern. Now that I've worked out what size that I need to make for me, for my preferred fit, I do really like it. I've raised up the front neckline 3 inches as well, so that I can wear the type of bras that I like with it. Now that I've perfected this pattern, I really, 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 really want to use this border print that I got from the textile centre many moons ago now. Many moons ago. I was initially thinking something like these sleeves in this border print, with like a big cuff, but given how deep this print is, I'm thinking maybe not quite as full sleeves as this. Still full sleeves, like the 9006 sleeves. I love those sleeves. And I'm going to use this little panel at the bottom here, this kind of triangles, yeah, irregular triangles. I'm going to use that as the cuff. I'm then going to use this as a pleated skirt into the bodice. I'm going to use this top of the print because it is a single border print. I'm going to use that as the top of the bodice. I have 5 meters of this fabric. I think that's going to be enough to give me the skirt width that I like. Now, because again, I'm going to be cutting out the sleeves out of this piece, so the sleeves need to be big enough that I can position one of these over this, you know, the center point of the sleeve, but not too big that they take up so much fabric that I won't have enough for the skirt. I'm really looking forward to this one. Like I say, I've had this fabric in my stash for a very long time. I love the pattern, I've perfected it. I think it's going to look awesome. I think it's going to look really, really cool. I'm very, very excited to see how this one turns out. The last border print that I worked with was in the jumpsuit, and whilst I'm happy with the outcome, I think the working with it was so problematic that I've just, there's some negative thoughts about that jumpsuit. So it's kind of like it's also obviously not appropriate for this time of year, so it's in the wardrobe at the moment thinking about what it's done, and I may come back to it and decide that I really, really do love it, but I might come back to it and decide that no, somebody else can enjoy wearing that one, and I need to go back to the drawing board for that kind of jumpsuit. I think the fabric is wrong for the trousers. I think that's what it is for me. But you live and learn. You live and learn. Yeah, this will be a much more traditional use of a border print, but it will still be an interesting play with some of the print placements, like I say, on the sleeves, possibly the waistband. Although again, this print is quite large, so it would be too large to work effectively on the waistband. I think I've had that problem in the past before. So yeah, if I have time, this will be the bonus project for this month. I'm really excited about it, but I am planning on doing a navy lookbook in the middle of the month, and I need all those previous pieces that I've shown you fabrics for. I need those for my navy lookbook. So I need to get on and get those done really, don't I? Let me know in the comments down below which one you're looking forward to seeing and why. Also, would you do a full button-up dress for the 9076, or would you do buttons at the top like the pattern suggests and a side zipper for ease of getting in and out? I'm going to be interested to hear what you guys think. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!